What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Treeman Show. Today I'm going to be climbing this big old red oak right here, just for fun, just to keep up with my skills and all that stuff. And I also just got a Rope Runner Pro, so I'm going to be testing that out. And I'm also going to be training a couple guys later on today, so I might video that, might not, but I'm going to just talk about my equipment, what I like about it, what I don't like, and if I recommend the Rope Runner Pro. So yeah, I'll attach you guys to my helmet and we'll be climbing trees. All right, so I'm up here with the Rope Runner Pro. Normally I'd have this line over on this side, so it's a little more accessible. But what I did is I threw my lifeline over that union right there and back down, because I'm about to take my lanyard and pass it through here. So I wanted a good safe tie-in point. And so far, what I can tell, it's holding up good. I already have the weight adjusted, or the friction adjusted for my weight. I'm about to pass this union, so let me tighten it up a little more. There we go. Oh, there's water in this tree. It's always so nerve-wracking using new gear, in my opinion, because you know, you don't know how it works. So I'm just taking my time with it. I'm testing it out here at the shop before I actually go onto a tree job and test it out, which I always highly recommend doing. But it tends to slack pretty dang good in comparison. I was using a Presic and a dog paw before, so I'm liking it so far. All right, guys, I repositioned my lifeline, so now it's coming up and over this way, so I can tend a little easier. Got it going around this way. So now what I'm gonna do is just slowly let my lanyard out so I can comfortably put some pressure in. Okay, it's not slipping at all. Just to be careful, because like I said, this is new to me. I'm used to climbing old school. So let's see. Okay, that tends pretty good. I think I'm gonna have to adjust the weight setting again though, because I did it on SRS and not multi-rope, and it is grabbing pretty good. Okay, moment of truth here. All right, I am free. All I have now is this system on me. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna need to adjust. That's okay. I'd rather it be too thick right now, or too much friction, than not enough. So yeah, definitely too much friction. It's pretty cool though. This is all new to me. I've used a Petzl Zigzag one time. Oh, and I just barely touched that thing, and I went absolutely flying down the rope. I said never again. That's pretty sweet. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to adjust this. I have it on 1. I'll probably put it on 3, because 99% of my climbing is MRS anyhow. I only do single rope if I need to, because I don't have a sling where I can just attach it to that and then pull it out afterwards. I usually go around the union of the tree. But yeah, Sweet. So I had to cut the video short on how I like the Rope Runner Pro because my guys, they had to leave for the day. And I personally, I mean, I've been doing this for several years now, but I personally don't like to climb without someone here, or even a homeowner if you're on a job, just somebody extra, you know, there with you in case something were to happen, you know, because I mean, you are climbing trees. Yes, you can trust your equipment, but at the end of the day, anything can happen. So like I said, I'm not going to be climbing anymore today. I'll do another video soon, but I'm just going to be putting up my equipment, and I'll go through some of my equipment with you, what I have. So just like these spikes, I absolutely love these spikes. I need to adjust them. I just sharpened them, and let me tell you, they will absolutely sink into some trees, but they're worth the money. I think I spent $500 something on these, but the comfort of them and how snug they feel on me, I really like. I had some I think they were aluminum geckos before, and I mean, dude, the padding in here was just falling off and they were really uncomfortable, so thought it was time to upgrade. Also, if you have all this equipment, store it properly, because if, I mean, you're spending all this money on equipment, like that harness right there, that was $400 or $500. These are $500. You know, your lanyard, all that stuff, all your carabiners, figure eights, all that stuff, store it away in something that actually protects it and keeps it nice and tidy. Because, you know, if you're just in here with your gear all mumbled, jumbled up, laying in the bed of your truck or wherever it is, you know, your gear's gonna wear out quicker. It's gonna get weathered. It's gonna deteriorate on you. And in this game, you really want to be keeping your gear top notch, because this is what, besides God, this is what you're trusting your life with, you know, while you're up in the tree. So you always just want to make sure it's nice and stowed away properly, which actually I need to get a new lanyard. I hit that with a chainsaw a while ago, but this is how I put all my stuff away. I just loop her up, and throw her in there. And that was no disregard to people that do put their, you know, don't put their stuff away. I mean, I know you got to do what you got to do sometimes, but if you can, invest into the equipment that you've already invested into, you know, just to keep it a little bit tidier and keep the longevity of it. So I strap this in, strap this guy in, tighten down. And it's also easier to carry your gear in this backpack. I mean, you can put literally all my climbing gear is in here. Obviously, except for my chainsaw, my lifeline. But I'm gonna just keep this in this box. I like this box that they put in. The new one's the Vertec. I've seen some videos on it, and they just have them in a cardboard piece now that tears. This is actually foam, and it's really sturdy foam and very squishy, and it holds it in there nice and snug. So after I use it, I'll clean it off and stick her in there, and guess where she's going? In the bag. Because when I grab this bag, I don't have to worry, oh crap, where are my carabiners? Oh, where's my figure eight? Oh, where's the steel carabiner? You know, I know every time I grab this bag that everything is in here that needs to be in there. It's just nice when you get to jobs, you know, say, even if it's just 10 minutes down the road, it sucks if you have to go back to the shop, you know, spend 20-30 minutes drive time and searching for it instead of just having it right there on the spot. So this is where I store my gear at the end of every day. Doesn't matter how late it is, I always come back and put it on these shelving systems, which I actually just redid these shelving systems earlier this week. Before they were 12-inch depth, and now they're 20-inch on these lower 4 rungs for more space. But yeah, like I said, this is where I always put my gear at the end of each day, just to have it nice and tidy so I know where everything is. Up there, I have extra lifelines or climbing lines, whatever you call them. I call those billy caps because, you know, that's what the new guys get to wear. Secondary harness if needed. I don't have other spikes or anything, so I don't ever bring that out with me. Hopefully I'll get some more spikes soon, because like I said, I'm about to start training up some guys. Over here I have my 5/8 bull rope. It's Samson braid. I really like Samson. This is my 11.8 millimeter Samson lifeline. And then right here I have my 1-inch Samson bull rope. And then you guys just saw what's in my climbing pack, secondary climbing pack. This is my rigging bag. I have my Porter wrap in here, rigging ring. I have some down further in there. I have wedges. I have a little mini sledge that goes along with it, and some extra rope in case it's needed. Oh, and I also have my pulley in there for my rigging block. And then down here, this is just kind of the extra bag. Well, normally this is in that one, but it got so heavy. This is my throw ball. I have all sorts of files in here. I have extra filters, T-tools. And then I have my climbing helmets. They're all Protos. This was my very first one that I got when I started doing tree work. Before I was using one of those, and then I was actually using a buddy of mine. And then this one right here, it doesn't get used. This was my second helmet, and this helmet actually saved my life. You can see the crease in it right here. So I was cutting down, it was about a 50-inch DBH water oak with my A81 with a 41-inch bar. And what I did, I climbed up the tree and I set 2 rig or pull points on it. One towards the back and one in the center. And then I ran it down to 2 separate pulley blocks about 100 feet away to my skid steer. And, you know, I had skid steer help pull it over. And what happened was the tree, you know, I was cutting, and then I backed away because, you know, I had about 10-12% hinge. And it was relatively straight up and down, and there wasn't anything wrong with this tree. And Josh, one of my old employees, he was in skid steer, and we were on communication systems with our helmets. I told him, you know, over the comms, all right, pull nice and easy. And so he started pulling, the tree was going. I did a couple more taps with chainsaw, and then I stepped away and I was walking away. And as I looked up and the tree was going, a branch came down and hit me and crushed me right here on the head and on my left shoulder. And there's more to that story, but basically I was in the hospital for a week, and I was out of tree work for a month and a half or so. You know, I was bedridden. I couldn't move. But all glory to God, I am all good now. My arm's a little messed up still, but other than that, I'm doing good. But yeah, so this is just, I'm never gonna throw away this helmet because God and this helmet saved my life. And then I have a few extra chains that I haven't even used yet right here. Mix, bar oil, grease, extra bar oil back there. I have the grease guns right here, still MS500I, still MS261C, still MS194T, still MS201T. And then I don't even know whose that is. It just popped up on my shelf, so I think it's one of the guys that live here. Still MS460. That thing is very old and it's a tank. It works awesome though. I love that chainsaw. I don't really use it that much though. And it's not mine, so it just kind of hangs out there unless I really need it. Still MS661, and then the big boy, still MS881. Like I said, I have a 41-inch bar on that. All these chainsaw, the 881, 661, the 500, and the 201, they all have upgraded dogs and bark boxes on them. I'd like to port them at some point, but you know, that's just extra money I don't need to spend right now. And then underneath this, I have a bunch more grease because I'm very adamant about greasing up all this stuff. And I just have, you know, gas cans over here, extra grease gun, ratchet straps, cones. And over here is the wall that nobody wants to look at. Why? Because 99% of these chains right here have to be sharpened. And I know I could drop them off somewhere and get them sharpened, but you know, on shop days or maintenance days, I'll come in here and sharpen a few chains at a time. I don't have any, I have a few skip tooth chains. I am gonna get some once I use all these chains up, because sharpening these suck. It really does. And then I have some extra bars here that are still good. I need to file the sides down because they're starting to get burrs on them. And then check all the sprockets, make sure they move freely, clean them out if they don't. So yeah, this is all my gear right here. And then up top have the equipment, of course. But this is kind of what I use on an everyday basis that I have a tree job. It's not cheap stuff, but I don't want to be buying Temu stuff, you know, to climb trees. So I like to buy reputable brands of equipment, you know, that I know that is tested and true and tried. Because like I said, I mean, we're up there climbing with this stuff, and I want to make sure that I can come down safely, you know, not fall down. So this is my daily work rig. It's a 2014 F350 6.7 liter Power Stroke. It is 4-wheel drive. It has lockers on the front. It doesn't have lockers on the rear. It's leveled on 37s. I have a 100-gallon fuel cell in the bed, and then this little platform that I showed you guys. It also has Fab 4 rear bumper upgraded and a Fab 4 upgraded front bumper. It also has a winch on it, but I haven't messed with it. I got this stuff off of Facebook Marketplace. I'll tell you what, Facebook Marketplace is fantastic because you can find all sorts of deals. You know, obviously be careful when you go and look at this stuff, make sure it's exactly what you're expecting. But I got this bumper and the rear bumper with the winch for $700. I gave him my front bumper and my back factory bumper for it. It wasn't supposed to come with the winch, but he couldn't get it off, so he said you can have it. Typically this front bumper alone is, I think, around $3,000, $3,400. So I definitely got a really good deal on that. So if you're ever looking for stuff, look on Facebook Marketplace and don't give up, you know. When you first start looking, just keep looking and you'll find something. This truck is absolutely phenomenal. I've really haven't had any issues with it. When I first bought it, I had to replace the rear axle because it looked like it was parked, or it seemed like it was parked on its side for a very long time, so there was actually no lubrication in the passenger side of the axle. And when I drove it off the lot, the axle snapped, funny enough. But you know, it has 290 something thousand miles on it now, and it's been a fantastic truck. You know, I can't complain. It's always showed up to work and it hasn't let me down. But this is the daily tow pig. It pulls my skid steer, the excavator, you know, dump trailer, all the brush, all that fun stuff. It has been fantastic. I also have a 250. I don't use that one as much for this work anymore. I usually use it to go on quotes and stuff like that, you know, try and keep it nicer than this one, because like I said, this one's a work truck. It's gonna get beat on and used pretty aggressively. But you know, if you're buying a higher mileage vehicle, just make sure, you know, the oil's been changed, everything's been checked, all the fluids ran through, and just continue to do that, and these things will last a very long time. All right guys, so that's gonna wrap it up for this video. I appreciate you guys commenting and liking and subscribing to my channel, and I can't wait to take you on the journey of my company growing and you guys being along with it. So just make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and the Treeman Show out.